Hello and welcome to the Simple and Beautiful Life Kitchen. Today, of course, is a soap making day, but today, if you'll notice, something has changed a little bit. We have a crock pot. Why? Let's find out. Presumably, you've already read the title of this video. So you already know that today we are making hot process, which is a little bit of a lost art for the main reason that with cold process soap, your soap stays more liquid and easier to work with in terms of colors. You can separate your cold process soap into tiny little batches. You can make it 100 different colors and usually, layer it and it will all work out just fine. You really can't do that with hot process soap because you're cooking it and you're forcing it to go through the saponification process, which makes it a little bit harder. It kind of makes it a little clumpy in reality, much more clumpy than cold process soap. And you're probably wondering, well, why would you do it that way? One, the main benefit of hot process soap is once you cook it, it's pretty much ready to go. I personally like to let my hot process soap sit for 2 weeks so it can get nice and hard, it can continue curing, and altogether it just becomes a higher quality bar. But if you wanted to, you could definitely, especially if you're just using this for yourself, you can definitely make your soap hot process and then use it right away. So today, that's what we will be doing. We will also be doing, because I'm kind of in a time crunch, which is why we've got the hot process going, we will also be doing cold process. So I will be doing this. Today I'm doing Castile soap hot process, which is actually one of my favorite soaps to do as hot process because it sells out really quickly. I do Castile soap, just olive oil, a little titanium dioxide to make it really nice and white and pretty, and that's about it. And all of my customers that have any sort of skin sensitivities, they can't do fragrances, they can't do any chemicals, things like that, this is perfect for them. And I do have a lot of customers who just want plain soap, nothing fancy. They just need it so that it can be super, super sensitive on their skin, super simple, and just very easy. So whenever I make this, it's usually gone. So, hot process is the way to go for me. I am also working on my Christmas soaps, which I'm super excited about. If you watched the last unboxing video from Wholesale Supplies Plus, that is one of the oils I will be using today. I will be using that apple pie oil. Oh my goodness, it just smells so good. I could just smell it all day long. I love it. So we will be doing that as well. So we will be doing hot process, cold process together. Like I said, I'm in a little bit of a time crunch. So we're doing them at the same time. I will start off with my hot process, get that going, and it needs to cook. So it's not something that, like cold process, you're active in the entire process. With hot process, you have to kind of just let it sit, let it cook for a little bit. So as this is cooking, I will start my cold process. I'm very good at multitasking. So if you're not good at multitasking, don't try this. If you're new at soap making, don't try to make two at once. So yeah, let's get started. Alrighty. Now, how incredibly shocked are you to have a different camera angle? You're like, Shelby, what? didn't even know you could do that. Okay. All jokes aside, I have my oils. They've been warming up in the crock pot. I have it set on low so that nothing happens too quickly. I have my lye water, which, let me double check you always want them to be around the same temperature. Spot for a lot of reasons. Now I'm going to dump this. There we go. I always think that looks so pretty. Even though it doesn't even, see, you can kind of see it. It's bumpy. Yes, I know, I need to corner. But maybe Christmas, I'll Christmas. Alright. And now, just let you what you do. This looks nice. Not any. Not any. Just cover it up. Okay, so I don't know if I explained it correctly or if I explained it too quickly, because I do that sometimes, but we are making 2 soaps today. 2. Hot process, as I'm sure you've caught on by now, and cold process. I pre-prepared my lye water. I have my oils ready to go, so we will combine them and get started again. All right, so I just measured out my fragrance oils. It smells just divine. If you didn't see the last YouTube video, Wholesale Supplies Plus, and this is their apple pie, and I mixed it with just a tiny little bit of their snickerdoodle, and it just, I mean, come on. Of course it's perfect. So I'm going to try something that I've never tried before. I don't know exactly how it's going to work. It might just all wash and not look good at all. It might not, and then it might look really great. So what I'm going to do, soap already is kind of naturally light colored, naturally whiter or creamy colored. The fragrance oil that I'm using, it has a vanilla point of 4%. So that will cause the soap to turn a little bit browner, which is exactly what I want. So I'm going to be taking my red mica, and like I said, I have never done this before, and I'm almost positive I've never seen anyone else do it either. Maybe there's a reason why. I'm just going to be kind of powdering the bottom of my mold. My thought is, because at first I was thinking, well, this is going to be apple pie soap, so I'll do like red, but apples are not completely red all throughout, and technically apple pie isn't red at all. So if I can get the mica that I'm putting on the bottom to stick to the soap, and then I'm going to kind of drizzle drazzle the top, you kind of get an apple rim, apple peel effect, which I think is more realistic and kind of more original than just dyeing it red or anything like that. However, some ideas are original because other people have tried them and it completely flopped and they didn't tell anybody about it. And that's why you think you have an original idea. But your idea is only other people's secret failed ideas. You never know. You never know. If only we were like super excited to share our failures. Newsflash, I've decided to cover this entire mold in mica. Because if you've ever seen an apple, it does not have only a red top and bottom, you know? It's kind of red all around. So that's what we're doing now. But you know, there's no, even if this idea is a flop, it's always smart to just try, because it could work out really well. You have no idea until you've tried it. I am trying to make this very even, very nicely brushed, which means it's getting nicely brushed all over my counter. If it's smeared all over the mold in just crazy zigzag, threw it on there pattern, that's how it's gonna look on the soap. If it sticks, it's gonna look crazy zigzag, threw it on there, didn't care. That's not what I'm going for. I mean, this is a purple mold. And I will say, I mean, it's not falling off. It's sticking to the sides very well. You can only try. Okay, let me take you over here to our other beautiful soap. And as you can see, it's starting to get a little thicker. Starting to get kind of like jelly or jello. So I add a lot of water, not a lot, but extra water to my hot process soap, because I personally think the more water you put in there, the smoother it's gonna be. And as you can see, it is pretty smooth. For hot process soap, this is pretty smooth. You can see it's getting a little chunky. I might run it through the stick blender again, just to kind of squish those out. I like running it through the stick blender a couple times because I feel like that squishes, just kind of like blends it all up really pretty. You might be thinking this is really white for hot process soap. I do add titanium dioxide to this soap. I think, not to be mean, but I think the natural color of hot process soap, it's kind of, ugh. Whenever I want nice white soap, that's what I use. So here's what it looks like right now. And then we will continue on with our cold process. Pro tip time. When it's time for cleaning up and you realize you have succeeded in covering your counters that you're renting with mica, never fear, because magic erasers, dude, they will get anything off when you cover your counter in red mica, and then you go to wash it off with a washcloth and you just smear it really nicely and thick. Don't worry, it'll come off. Just get yourself one of these, okay? Okay, we are almost done. Almost done. Let's take a gander at our hot process. This is what it's starting to look like now. Starting to boil, starting to bubble. And I do not feel like this is super common practice, but I will add more water to this to make it smoother and just nicer. And I will stick it through the stick blender one more time because I think hot process soap is just the best thing ever, as long as it doesn't look like chunky oatmeal or something. I like the color of this, but let's say you're making it and you don't, you can add a little bit more colorant at this time. Some people will add colorant specifically, like if they want it to be a different color, 2 different colors, they'll add the second color now and swirl it in gently, and then they'll just scoop it out, and this is when they put it in the mold, and then they get kind of a marbly 2-colored effect. That's not what I'm doing. That is what you can do though. Aren't you just so excited about all these new angles? So we are pretty much done with both. Okay. My first thought was, I'll just scoop this out with my spatula. And I have a soup ladle. These are, don't you worry, specifically for soap only. So they do not get used on my food. Just keep everything separate. These tools are not expensive, but your health is worth it, okay? Okay, there we go. Now, of course, it is not as smooth and creamy and just lush as cold process, but it's fast. It still is more clumpy than I would like it to be. That's why I'm kind of... There is a reason why people gravitate towards cold process, and cold process is just... It's just beautiful, you know? Okay, so I had to kind of speed up and go quick because these were both getting ready to be done right at the same time. So I had to just go. So this is the apple soap. I'm probably gonna name it like Golden Delicious, something like that. So that's why it's got the gold specks. And then this is just your plain Castile soap. It's looking a little separate-y. We will see. It has admittedly been a while since I've done hot process. Not since we moved from California. So we'll see. Admittedly, if it doesn't work out. It was my first batch for a long time. When I wash out the crock pot, what always makes me feel a little bit more secure in what I've made is when the crock pot gets bubbly, just because I'm washing out the soap that was in there. And having it get bubbly just makes me feel like, okay, it's actually soap. So that's good. So maybe it's fine. And I have these thoughts every single time I make hot process, because whenever you put it into the mold, it always just kind of looks like crap. And then you're like, oh man, I screwed it up. So, thoughts of a soap maker. I am done. I am tired. Doing hot process and cold process at the same time has made me ready for a nap. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is that you're doing. I hope you're just having a wonderful day. And see you next time, either for a vlog or when it's time to make more soap, or, spoiler alert, I may be trying to make some bath bombs. I have a request for them. They really want them. I told them I haven't made them before, so let me try to do it once and see what happens. So we might have a experimental bath bomb video coming up. Who knows? We'll see. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all later. Bye!